Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and as you can see I'm currently just outside St James's Park right now. Long story short, I'm heading down to Portugal tomorrow for the Benfica game across the week, so I needed to go to the club shop and get an arse shirt. And in the back, I just got Bruno this time. I was actually going to get Kieran Trippier, but I've got a feeling his number's going to change now that Clark is out with the club. I think a number 2 spot's available. I think the club's going to give it to Trippier, I'm going to be honest. So we're going to play it safe and not get him at the minute, because you're not allowed refunds on your shirts. So yeah, don't get the numbers wrong if you're going to get them now. But anyway guys, welcome back to the video. If you're new, make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button, and as well as that, you can also smash the like button. I really do appreciate your support as always. And finally, question of the day: how do you guys think the transfer window has went so far? That's the topic of this video today. So it's been just under 4 weeks now since Newcastle's last signed in Botman. I remember going over to the opposite side of St James's Park and capturing footage of the first time Botman saw that stain with his own eyes. So the problem with the club is that they have not addressed their attacking concerns yet, and a lot of fans, as a result, we can get either frustrated or a bit impatient. And the point of this video is just to explain to you that things are still fine. There's no concerns yet. I don't think there will be concern, but I think the way, especially some fans been communicating with the owners, there's been a lot of people that I've been private messaging the owners or just tagging the owners and just slagging them off and saying they're not doing a good enough job. It's just ridiculous. So the point of this video today isn't for me to come out and defend the owners or me to come out and slag the owners. The point of me is just to come out and talk about where Newcastle are now, what Newcastle fans can expect in the next few weeks, and I just think people need to calm down a bit. We see it today with Dwight Gill going out of the club. That's another player out of the club. Yes, he went on a free, so it's not going to help the transfer budget per se, but that was a player that had a 2-year contract and 40 grand a week. Getting those sort of players out the door is key. He's a great servant to the club, but he hasn't played in years. He's not going to play again. So it was huge to get someone that sort of wage gap out of the club, because it fills open more space. Newcastle's biggest problem they have at the minute is trying to get attacking players, but due to the inflated market, it means that Newcastle have to spend more money than they want to get these attacking players in. And I'll explain why it's a bit of a problem. So Lingard, for example, he was a player that openly stated that he wanted to join Newcastle in January on loan from Manchester United. And we saw yesterday when he signed for Nottingham Forest, his new contract at Nottingham Forest, he's earning £200,000 a week at a newly promoted side. By the way, this isn't a big club, with all due respect. This is a newly promoted side in Nottingham Forest. I haven't been in the Premier League in my lifetime, I don't think. So yeah, 200 grand a week. So if that was happening in Newcastle, 200 grand a week would be Newcastle's most expensive player. I mean, what do I say? Is Lingard, would he be Newcastle's best player? No, he wouldn't. So why would the club ever give him 200 grand a week? The club is never ever going to do that. So the dilemma that Newcastle faces now is whether they should just go, you know what, stuff it, screwed it, we'll wait long enough, we're going to go out there now, overpay for a strike and get somebody in ready for that match against Nottingham Forest in a few weeks' time. Or does the club go, well, we saw with Botman that if we stick with a player long enough and if we be patient enough, we can get a value for a player that we want to pay personally, and we're going to wait it out and see what happens to the striker options. And that's for the club to decide, that's for a mandate to decide and for murder to decide. But is the criticism they're getting fair enough? Let's find out. So this here is one of the worst examples I've seen so far. So this is a Newcastle fan that has came out and went, well, the front three against Nottingham Forest is going to be the same front three against West Ham last season. Well, yes, that's true, but he's not taking so many different things into account. It is a really bad example. So, I mean, he's not taking the squad into account to begin off with. So, as you can see, especially that back five, just look at the state of that squad. That has to be the worst defence I've seen in my lifetime. Murphy and Ritchie, fullbacks, I'm actually going to be sick. Those two are fullbacks. I'm not even fullbacks to begin off with. And not to mention as well, Kraft centre-half, Clark, Fernandez, Woodman, who made his debut in that game. So that was a brand new goalkeeper playing Premier League football. So obviously he was going to be for a hard time. The full team sucks. As well as that, Eddie Howe wasn't the manager. So we had Steve Bruce in charge, where we had the likes of Shelby, Callum Rose and Ryan Fraser on account, who came out and said that the squad wasn't fit enough to play that match. So again, the players themselves are saying that they weren't fit for the game. On top of that as well, it was a back five. Nobody likes watching back five football, let's be honest. Even with a back five, we were still conceding 3 goals, 4 goals a game. So what was the point of the back five? You might as well go forward the back and try and score some goals, because we were conceding loads anyway. So yeah, we had a back five with a defence that was awful, probably one of the worst defences in the league. We didn't have new owners, so going into that stadium was depressing. There was no atmosphere, the seats were empty everywhere, people didn't care, people weren't interested, people weren't invested. it doesn't matter if the front three is the same. So many other things have changed that you just can't use that example as like a dig to the owners, because they've signed all around the park with the exception of the front three. In fact, the signed striking Chris Wood, he's just unfortunately hasn't really scored the goals the club needs, which is why we had to go back in again for another striker. But yeah, use that as an example for me. It's not an example you can use because so much has changed since that West Ham game. So this example here now is just from a troll, so I thought I'd get the trolls out of the way now. So this is somebody that will go on social media and he will actively try to get a response from the owners and the fan base directly. I think the correct terminology for this guy, I think he's called a virgin. But yeah, back in topic now. No, these accounts you should just ignore altogether. They do get quite a lot of reactions, and they're just people out there that just openly just go on just to try and wind people up. These don't reflect the fan base at all. You get them in every single fan base. It's nothing like a Newcastle thing. It's nothing like that. It's just unfortunately some people out there that are just freaks. I don't know why. Anyone that makes YouTube videos as well, or just anyone on social media, will get these sort of people that will just look to get a response from you. So yeah, in this case, it's best to keep quiet. I know I've reacted to it here, but I thought I'd show you an example to try and avoid these in the future, because these people are just not fans at all. So what's realistic for the owners to do? What can Newcastle fans actually expect before you enter the transfer window? Well, I think undoubtedly Newcastle will sign their attacking player, at least one. Depending on how the club does it, I think the club might either decide to split it off into two players, or they might just go all out and buy one key player and potentially loan somebody else out there. But I do expect Newcastle fully to get at least one attacking option. It's a key area of the pitch. Newcastle know how serious it is. Eddie Howe has spoken in account, of course, in Austria, just talking about how the club is still trying to get one or two more players in. The owners aren't stupid. They've seen how many goals Newcastle scored last season. They've seen the fact that Chris Wood only got 2, but being a £25 million striker. The club would know that a striker is needed. Callum Wilson is injury prone. He's proven that throughout his entire career. The club knows he will get injured at some point, and they'll just think far and ahead. They'll know that the club will need to sign a striker, which is why they will do it. So yes, I think 100% without a doubt the club will sign our striker. Now, as of who it's going to be, it's quite hard to call at the minute. As I said in the previous video, I think Depay is a bit of a realistic one at the minute, especially with Lewandowski coming into Barcelona. I think Barcelona will be open to selling the player. I think it would cost Newcastle £25 million to bring Depay into the club. And would you take him for £25 million? I personally would. I think he's a great player. The only problems with him being is, one, does he fit Eddie Howe's style of play, and two, does Depay want to join Newcastle? If we can get past both of those issues, then yeah, I think the club should be all over someone like him. But the options are out there. The options will become available as more signs are made, which is why I stated in the past that maybe it's best for the club to actually play it smart. I always said this, but the problem Newcastle have is if we overpay for players now, and every single transfer window will be the exact same, clubs will know we're feeble, we're weak, and we'll go in and just take advantage of our money. I don't think there's any Newcastle tax per se, but I definitely think there's a tax for teams that have a lot of money. And I think for clubs out there, Manchester City, Newcastle, all of these big level clubs have just millions upon millions to spend. The clubs will know that, and the clubs will just look for their best interest. It's just how transfer windows work. So yes, the club has to play it smart in order to make sure that they can get the deals at once without being mugged off. So in conclusion, does Amanda Stadium murder deserve criticism? For me, no. I think it's ridiculous, to be honest. Yes, we hadn't got our attacking options in yet, but the window is also not closed yet. I think we should wait the window out, and if there isn't any attacking options in, which I will be shocked by, then yes, that's when I personally think it would be fair to criticise, because that's a key area that we're several going to address, and if we don't address it, then yes, I do think criticism is fair in that aspect. But at the minute, no chance. I think the 3 signs we made have all been good signs. Botman especially, I don't think many Newcastle fans at all expected us to sign Botman, especially how things sort of closed down in January, with Leo Conte moving the goalposts, with Newcastle going elsewhere, trying to get Carlos in January. It just didn't feel like Newcastle were going to go back in for Botman anymore. So I think the fact we got him in is huge. Nick Pope for £12 million is a steal every single day of the week. I think he's better than De Bruyne. I think he will start off with De Bruyne, and if people disagree with that, then I think most people will claim he's on par with De Bruyne. £12 million, so England international. Yeah, you've got to say yes to every single time. Matt Target had a brilliant season with last year. Yes, we activated his release clause, whatever it was. I don't even know what it was now. There's some obligation in his contract which stated we could buy him whenever we want. So yes, that wasn't an amazing sign because it was already on his contract. All it took was the club to go, yeah, we want him. But still, the fact we got him in again is a huge one. Clears out the left back situation, £15 million. I think that's great value for him. The 3 signs were made, all 3 of those players will start, so I think the 3 great signs. So do fans think we should criticise him for that? No. I think the owners have done a brilliant job, especially the other teams as well. I can't talk about the women's team too much because a lot of their stuff is behind closed doors, but again, they seem to be going really well at the minute. So I think the owners, especially in that women's team section, has done a brilliant job again. I can't wait to see them play. But back to the topic now, should they get criticism? No. I think it's a bit ridiculous. I think fans, I wouldn't say they're fickle, but obviously fans do need to be aware that where we were a year ago. 1 year ago, we were a nothing club with no life, no ambition, no projections, there's no intensity, nothing to it. We were just a nothing club. We were a club out there that was just playing to survive, not playing to win. We were on that pitch just hoping to win. Just hope, that's all it was. It's just little sparks of hope in there, but it was never any fruition, never any intent. It's just never anything to it. But now we have real hope, we have real projections, we have real targets. And Amanda and everyone at the club has stated in interviews that they will make this a long-term project. They're here for the long run. They're not going to do off after a couple of years. They're here for the long term. They want to see Newcastle 16. They have extremely ambitious projects for this club, and whether they do or not is another question, but they should not get criticism at the minute. No chance for me. Anyway guys, thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below, and yes, I will see you on the next one. I'll see you later tomorrow.